Hello and welcome to another video review, and today I'm reviewing the biggest game to come out in 2018, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2. But before we dive into my review of Red Dead Redemption 2, I kind of wanted to tell you what's going on with my plans for covering this game on the channel. I'm going to be doing 2 videos dedicated to Red Dead Redemption 2. The video you're about to watch is a spoiler-free review of the game in its entirety. I'm not going to spoil anything that you guys probably don't already know about the game. Then, a couple days later, I'll be releasing what I'm calling a spoiler cast of the game, which is going to be a lot more formal. It's going to be me sitting kind of discussing different spoilers from the game that I want to talk about, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about in this game that fall under that category that I literally cannot talk about because I don't want to spoil them in my video review. So those are the 2 videos that I have dedicated to Red Dead Redemption 2. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into my review of Red Dead Redemption 2. Here we go.
Bastard shot my cousin! Well, he started it. I'm gonna break your neck!
What's going on?
This guy just jumped me!
Oh, did he now?
Sneaky little bastard. Should I kill him?
No. Not yet. Find out what they're doing here and where Colm is.
Oh, this son of a bitch will talk. Where's Colm O'Driscoll?
With the others. At an old mining camp southwest of here. Near the lake.
What are you bastards doing? Why are you up here?
We're fixing to rob some train. Gonna blow the tracks. I don't know more than that, I swear.
Well, I would say it looks like you have this, Arthur. Do what you want with him. I don't care. But bring that horse when you're done.
I approached the sequel to Red Dead Redemption with caution as well as eager anticipation. After all, this is a long-awaited sequel to one of my favorite and most beloved games of last generation, and honestly, I didn't know if Rockstar could pull this game off with you playing as a character that isn't John Marston. And I'll be very honest here, the first 10 to 12 hours I played Red Dead Redemption 2 were met with me not caring about the story in this game at all whatsoever. I spent a lot of my time wandering the wilderness and seeing how bad of a person I could be. Hell, I was a very bad man in the first half of this game. I decided early in the game I would just go about my business doing dastardly dark deeds. I killed again, and I killed some more. But then something strange happened. I started to care about the story. I started to care about the character of Arthur Morgan, and I cared about seeing what exactly broke apart in the Vanderlyn gang. I cared about seeing how John Marston ended up in the events of the original Red Dead Redemption. And when all was said and done, this may be my new favorite Rockstar game of all time over Bully, and that's a tall order for me. I'll say this about Red Dead, it takes time. This is a special game and unlike anything you've played this year. In fact, it might be unlike anything you've played this entire generation. This is a game that takes a slow amount of time to get going. It's a very slow burn. The first 2 to 3 chapters of Red Dead Redemption 2 are some of the slowest story-moving pieces in a game that I've ever played. Everything takes its time in this game. Rockstar, the developers of this game, took their time developing the game, and they've created one of the most realistic and fully realized digital worlds with Red Dead Redemption 2. For my review of Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm splitting it into 2 videos because it's a massive game that needs to be discussed and discussed at great length. And I don't want to bog down my thoughts by avoiding spoilers because, well, there's a lot of stuff in this game I really want to talk about, and I don't feel that it's good to talk about those things in a video review and spoil the game for someone. The second video in this video review, which will be a spoiler cast, will be posted a couple days after on the channel. And I have to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 at great length because it's going to be very high on my Game of the Year list, and there's a lot of facets about the game that I need to discuss. Anyways, let's dive into more about Red Dead Redemption 2. As said before, Red Dead Redemption 2 starts you off as Arthur Morgan, a character that at first I honestly just didn't care for, but he grew on me as the game progressed. He's a man that's devout to his gang and would do anything to help them. The tutorial opening of the game lasts for about a good 2 to 3 hours. As I said before, this is a massive game unlike the size of anything I've personally ever played. It goes, and it goes some more. The opening has you and your gang on the run from a job that went bad in Blackwater. It's the first time we hear of Dutch, the leader of the gang, and possibly snapping and beginning to go bad. Obviously, these people are bad people, but Dutch is kind of a gangster with a heart of gold. He only steals to help his people, and he's not really a fan of hurting people in the process when they're robbing banks and robbing all these other things. They're kind of just there to get the money and get out. However, this game is also a slow descent into the madness that Dutch goes through. This is a great antagonist character, one whose story we already saw the end of in Red Dead Redemption back in 2010. And Red Dead 2 only builds his story up and fleshes it out that much more. I was more reserved on the character of Arthur Morgan at first. How would they write in a character whom was never mentioned in the previous game and now make him the main character of this one? Well, Red Dead 2 does a fine job of making him a character that you'll care about by the time the story wraps up. In one of the opening missions, when we first meet John Marston, we get to see how his famous face scars appear as well. From this point on, the game opens up and allows you to basically do whatever you want. You can continue with the story, or you can go off on your own and do your own thing. I chose the latter and spent my first 10 hours wandering around doing my own thing. Red Dead is such an incredible immersive experience. I have to applaud Rockstar Games for once again setting the damn bar in this entire industry. The random encounters in the world, how stranger missions are handled, and of course the top-notch writing that you'd expect from the Hauser brothers makes Red Dead Redemption 2 one of Rockstar's best experiences. I found myself enjoying the side missions just as much, sometimes even better, than the story content of the game. What really makes Red Dead Redemption 2 stand out for me are the side experiences and stories, and how side missions sometimes are just organically woven into the fabric of this game. Without spoiling it, I encountered a random mission involving a teenage boy who was locked in the basement of the gunsmith shop in Rhodes. I had read nothing about this encounter, and it doesn't even appear as a random encounter in the game. It's just something you have to find organically. While I won't spoil that little side mission for you in this video, but I'll talk about it more at length in my spoiler cast, I will say it is one of the most well-written and interesting little tidbit stories that Rockstar's ever put in one of their games, and it's something you just don't see in video games. It kind of really takes a dark turn that I did not expect to see in a video game. It's also a shining example of just how immersive Rockstar made this world. It took me roughly 65 hours to complete the story of Red Dead Redemption 2. That's right, 65 hours it took me just to beat the story of this game. And that was me doing a decent amount of side stuff as well, while pretty much avoiding things like hunting and fishing entirely. There's still so much to do and explore in the game that I could easily spend another 40 to 50 hours with the game, and I will be honest with you guys, I totally will spend that 40 or 50 hours here continuing to explore this world and find everything. And let me just say that while I won't spoil it in this video, the game does open up in a very exciting way once you fully complete the story, allowing you to explore vast new area that is somewhat detached from the normal map. Deadeye returns from the previous game, and I feel it works even easier this time around. In fact, if there's one single complaint I'll make about Red Dead Redemption 2, it's how Deadeye works. It just feels like it makes the game that much easier. There were a lot of gun battles I had in this game that I feel like would have been more challenging had I had just not used Deadeye. But Deadeye is also one of the most fun elements in this game as well. We've seen Rockstar since Max Payne 3 in 2012, take this shooting engine and put it into GTA 5 and now Red Dead Redemption 2, and it still works incredibly well. Once I was able to make enough money to keep my items in stock at almost all times, I was able to blaze through each mission. In fact, other than by pure stupidity, I only died a handful of times throughout my 65 hours, and most of these were caused by me falling off of my horse or running my horse into a tree and having us both die, which is something I saw more times than I care to share in this review. Now, one thing I want to touch on here that I've seen a lot of people complain about Red Dead Redemption 2 is character movement in the game. A lot of people are complaining that the character moves as slow as molasses. Well, I thought it was an interesting thing that people were talking about. I actually loaded up Grand Theft Auto 5 to see, and I find that between Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, character movement is pretty much the same between these two titles. Other things that I want to talk about here quickly with Red Dead Redemption 2. The side missions, obviously, incredible experiences. I don't want to talk about any of those at length because I don't want to spoil it. There's also just so many more things to do and collect that are organically woven into the game. There's also a big, vast reason to go out and hunt and fish in this game. They have given you legendary animals to go hunt down and collect their pelts, and that's a whole separate thing. I've only hunted one of these animals, and I plan on doing more of that soon. There's also, you can pretty much rob any bank you want. It's an incredible game. The one thing I'll say is a lot of people were really, and me, myself included, were really surprised the first time we had one of those random encounters where you save someone out in the wilderness from either getting attacked by a wild animal or because they had a snake bite and you happen to have some, cure-all on you or something. And then you'll wander into the nearest town and they'll be there and they'll give you a gift. Like one guy had me go in the gun shop, purchase a gun, and put it on his tab. This is a really cool and interesting thing, but it starts to happen really frequent in the game, and it's something you see more and more of. However, there are other things in the game that are just kind of random elements. It's just a level of detail you don't see in modern video games that's displayed here in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's just incredibly impressive. And yes, this game took 5 to 6 years for them to make, but it's unlike anything else I've played this year. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an experience. It's the type of game that you don't get every year. This is a game that, over 5 years in the making, truly felt like the next evolution in modern open world gaming for me. And while some will complain that the game is too open for their taste, I feel that Rockstar has accomplished here not only set the bar for them, but set the bar for every open world game that will follow. It's a rare treat to get a game that is this polished, but Rockstar has once again proven that they are the masters of their craft. Well, no, I don't believe that a game is perfect. No game is. I really don't have anything too negative to say about this game at all. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a very rare title for me that is going to get an A+ for the first time ever on my channel. I don't give out A+s lightly, and while again, I don't think the game is perfect, I don't think any game is a perfect game, Red Dead Redemption 2 just has so many things going for it, it deserves the A+ that I'm giving it. I highly recommend Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it's one of the best games. It might be the best game of 2018. We'll find out in a couple weeks here. However, Red Dead Redemption 2, it's worth your time. One final note I want to make in this spoiler-free review. I played this game on the Xbox One X, and I cannot recommend enough, if you have access, if you're a guy like me out there and you own both the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, this Xbox One X version of this game is that much better than the PS4 Pro. If you don't believe me, go over and watch the Digital Foundry video. Those guys go into great detail and depth about the differences between the PS4 Pro version and the Xbox One X version of this game. It is a night and day difference between these two, and if you have access to an Xbox One X, that is your route to go for this game. Anyways, guys, I'm glad you stuck around and watched my video review on Red Dead Redemption 2. If you want to hear me talk about spoilers in kind of more of a free-form format, come back and watch part 2 of my review where I'm going to discuss some of the spoilers of Red Dead Redemption 2 at great length. Anyways, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.